Welcome! Today we're making a delicious homemade ranch sauce from scratch, a perfect creamy and tangy dip for veggies, wings, or even a salad dressing. It's simple, quick, and packed with flavor. So let's get started and make this irresistible ranch sauce that'll be a hit at any meal. Let's get started on making a creamy, tangy homemade ranch sauce. First, grab 1 cup of sour cream and 1 cup of mayonnaise. This forms the base. For some tang, add half a cup of buttermilk, or regular milk works too, along with 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice and 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. To give it that classic ranch flavor, you'll need 1 clove of garlic, minced, and 1 tablespoon of fresh chives, chopped. Then prepare 1 tablespoon of fresh parsley and 1 teaspoon of fresh dill. Optional, but adds that perfect touch. Prep 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a little black pepper to taste. For extra depth, 1/8 teaspoon of smoked paprika is optional. Now, let's mix these all together for a delicious homemade ranch sauce. Let's get started by preparing our fresh herbs and garlic. First, grab 1 clove of garlic and mince it finely. You want it small enough so it blends into the sauce without any chunks. Now, take 1 tablespoon of fresh chives and 1 tablespoon of fresh parsley. If you're using dried herbs, that's fine too, just adjust the amount. For that signature ranch flavor, we're also going to chop 1 teaspoon of fresh dill. The fresher the herbs, the more vibrant your sauce will be, but if dried is all you have, just use about 1/3 of the amount. Chop the herbs finely and set them aside. Once they're ready, we'll move on to mixing the base. Now, let's move on to the base of the ranch sauce. In a medium bowl, combine 1 cup of sour cream and 1 cup of mayonnaise. These 2 ingredients are the foundation of our sauce. They create that rich, creamy texture. Use a whisk to mix them well until they're smooth and combined. If you want a thicker sauce, feel free to adjust the ratio of sour cream and mayo. But for now, let's get everything smooth and creamy. This will give the sauce its nice base before we add the tang and flavor. Next, we're going to add the liquids to bring the ranch sauce to life. Pour in half a cup of buttermilk. This will add a nice tang, but if you don't have buttermilk, regular milk will work. For that extra kick, we're adding 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice and 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. These ingredients bring the zesty, tangy flavor that ranch is known for. Once you've added them, whisk the mixture again. You'll notice the consistency changing, becoming a bit thinner and smoother. This is where you can adjust. If you want a thicker dressing, reduce the buttermilk, and for a more dip-like consistency, you can add a little extra milk. Stir it until it's well combined. Now comes the fun part, adding all those fresh herbs we prepped earlier. Take the chopped chives, parsley, and dill and stir them into the sauce. This will give the ranch sauce its vibrant green color and fresh flavor. If you're using dried herbs, just sprinkle them in and give it a quick stir. Make sure to fold the herbs evenly into the sauce so each bite will be full of flavor. Once the herbs are well incorporated, you can give it a quick taste to check if it needs a little extra seasoning or herbs. Now, let's add all the seasoning to give the ranch its signature flavor. Start with 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder and 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. These will give the sauce a savory depth. Then season with 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. This will balance out the tang and creaminess. If you like a little extra kick, this is the point where you can add a pinch of cayenne pepper or even a dash of hot sauce. Stir everything in well so the flavors meld together. This seasoning mix gives the ranch that mouth-watering flavor we all know and love. Now that everything is mixed, it's time to taste your ranch sauce. Take a small spoonful and see if it's tangy enough for your liking. If you want more tang, add a little more lemon juice or vinegar. For extra creaminess, you can add a bit more mayo or sour cream. Don't forget to check the seasoning. If it needs a little more salt, pepper, or garlic, now's the time to add it. Remember, ranch sauce is all about balance, so keep tasting and adjusting until it's perfect for your taste buds. Once you're happy with the flavor, we can move on to letting it sit. Finally, it's time to let the ranch sauce chill. This is a crucial step. By allowing the sauce to sit in the fridge for at least 30 minutes, all the flavors have a chance to meld together. The longer it sits, the more the herbs and spices infuse into the cream base. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap or transfer it into an airtight container. You can store it in the fridge for up to a week, so it's great for meal prep. Once it's chilled, it's ready to serve as a dip for veggies, wings, or a dressing for salads. Lastly, here's some helpful tips to make your ranch sauce even better. First, if you find the sauce too thick, just add a little more buttermilk or regular milk to reach your desired consistency. For a smoother texture, you can also use a hand blender to make it extra creamy. If you want to boost the flavor, let the sauce sit in the fridge for at least 30 minutes before serving. It lets the herbs and spices really blend together. If you're using dried herbs instead of fresh, remember to use about 1/3 of the amount, since dried herbs are more concentrated. Lastly, if you like your ranch a bit spicier, add a pinch of cayenne pepper or a few drops of hot sauce for an extra kick. This homemade ranch sauce can be stored in an airtight container in the fridge for up to 1 week. Enjoy your homemade ranch.